All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about something absolutely critical, a blueprint, a real architectural plan for building AI agents that we can actually trust to be safe and secure. I mean, just think about that for a second. An AI agent is this incredibly powerful tool, right? It's a digital assistant that could book your flights, manage your money, maybe even run your whole life. But that much power comes with a huge amount of risk. If that agent gets compromised, well, that's not just a software bug. That is a disaster waiting to happen. So, how do we build these things to be both incredibly powerful and incredibly safe? Well, you need a plan. You need a kind of architectural blueprint for building a fortress of trust. And that's exactly what the Secure AI Framework, or SAFE 2.0, is all about. It's the guide that lets developers bake security in from the very first line of code. Now, at the very heart of this blueprint are 6 foundational pillars. And these aren't just, nice suggestions. They are the absolute essential control domains you need to create a complete security structure around any AI system. So here they are, the 6 pillars of our fortress. We've got data, infrastructure, model, application, assurance, and governance. You can think of them as the foundation, the walls, the brain, the gates, the guards, and then the laws of the land. Every single one is a critical layer of defense. Let's start at the very beginning, from the ground up. Just like building any fortress, you have to have a solid foundation. And in the world of AI, that foundation is built on 2 things: secure data and a really robust infrastructure. And this really comes down to 2 key pieces. First, you have data controls. This makes sure that our raw materials, all the information the AI learns from, are clean and handled properly. Then you have infrastructure security, which makes sure the ground we're building on is solid and protected. Because honestly, one without the other is just a fortress built on sand. So, what does securing the data actually mean? Well, it means using technology that protects people's personal information. It means making sure you actually have the right to use the training data in the first place, actively filtering out all the toxic or biased junk, and, this is a big one, always handling user data based on their explicit consent. And for the infrastructure, first, we need to know every single asset we have, every piece of code, every single model. Then, internal teams should only get the absolute minimum access they need to do their jobs. And it is so crucial to use modern, secure frameworks where security is just built in from the get-go. Okay, foundations laid. Now we can move to the very heart of our fortress. The AI model itself, you can think of it as the brain, and the application, which is how it actually interacts with the world. Now, here we have to make a really important distinction. Protecting the model is all about hardening the AI's core logic against direct attack. But application controls, that's all about managing how that AI actually behaves and what it's allowed to do when it's out there in the wild. To protect the model, we use something called input validation to block malicious prompts right at the door. We also use adversarial training, which is basically training the AI on tricky or deceptive examples to make it tougher and more resilient. And finally, you have to have output filters to make sure the AI doesn't say or do something harmful. Now, on the application side, everything, and I mean everything, revolves around user trust. This means super strict access management, being totally transparent about what the AI can and can't do, and, most critically, requiring explicit user approval for any action the agent wants to take. No surprises, ever. This whole idea really hinges on a cornerstone of security. It's called the principle of least privilege. And it's actually pretty simple. An AI agent should only have the absolute bare minimum permissions it needs for its task. That's it. An agent that just checks the weather should never, ever have access to your email. But that brings up a really good question, doesn't it? A weather bot is simple. But what if you ask your agent to book a complex trip? All of a sudden, it needs access to your calendar, your contacts, maybe even your credit card. A static, low-privilege model just isn't going to cut it. And the solution is something called dynamic permissions. The agent always starts with minimal access. But based on what you ask it to do, it can ask for temporary, elevated permissions for that one task, and it only gets them after you explicitly say yes. This is how you get security and functionality to work together, hand in hand. Our fortress is built, but it's not enough to just build the walls and walk away. We need guardians constantly patrolling them, and this is where our final 2 domains, assurance and governance, come into play. Let's look at how these 2 work together. Assurance is the active, hands-on defense. Those are the guards on the wall, constantly looking for threats. Governance, on the other hand, is this set of laws for the entire fortress. It's the high-level strategy that defines how we operate and manage risk from the very top. So, assurance in practice means relentless testing. It means hiring ethical hackers, what we call red teams, to try and break your defenses. It's about constant monitoring for new threats and having a rock-solid plan for what to do when, not if, a security incident happens. And governance provides the essential structure for all of this to happen. Look, this isn't just boring paperwork. This is the high-level command center. It's about the whole organization actively tracking its AI risks, making sure every single model they deploy meets strict safety standards, and publishing clear, easy-to-understand security policies for their own teams and for us, the users. You know, a blueprint is only useful if everyone on the construction site knows their job. So who is responsible for what? Well, the framework breaks this down into two key roles. You've got the model creators, who are like the architects, and the model consumers, who operate it in an application. And you can see here it's a really clear division of labor. The model creators, they handle the foundational security, things like data management, the infrastructure, and testing the model. And then on the other side, the model consumers, or operators, they focus on the part you and I see, managing access, making sure it's transparent, and putting those dynamic permissions into place. It's a truly shared responsibility. So, there you have it. 6 interconnected domains that all come together to form one comprehensive blueprint. And this isn't just about securing one single model, it's about establishing a trustworthy process for every single AI agent we build from this point forward. Following this framework gives us a really strong defense against the threats we face today. But as AI gets exponentially more powerful, the nature of those threats, well, it's going to evolve too. So the real question we're left with is, how will our blueprints need to adapt for the even more capable, even more powerful agents of the future?